Hello and welcome back to this week's edition of the Snakebite. Number 16 men's cross country took care of business in both men's and women's soccer in the conference tournament. What more could you want? First, let's roll that intro. The number 16 ranked men's cross country team just made history. Pinch me if you've heard that one before. Ow! The reigning Sunshine State Conference champions dominated at the South Regional, where they finished second overall, only falling to the number 5 team in the country, Lee University, and all 7 competitors for the Mocs were all region. This is the first time ever that Florida Southern has had their entire regional squad named all region. Leading the way, as expected, was Christian Giller, who took the race out hard, but ultimately got caught at the end to finish 4th overall. Anthony Matthew followed Giller in his highest finish of the season, as he was 9th overall and 2nd on the team. The rest of the Mocs filed within the top 25. To emphasize how major this feat is, the Mocs' 3rd finisher, sophomore 𝙏𝙃𝙀 𝙎𝙉𝘼𝙆𝙀, beat the top runner of 14 out of the 18 teams that competed in the regional. The men will move on to the national championships next weekend up in Kenosha, Wisconsin, where the Mocs will look to prove to the nation they're more than just a top 16 team.
Volleyball made the trip to St. Petersburg on Friday to face Eckerd, whom they swept at home back on October 11th. This time went the other way around as Eckerd College swept the Mocs, with the Mocs reaching 20 points in a set just once in the 3rd and final set. Saturday, they then traveled to Winter Park, where they faced Rollins College for the 2nd time this year, having beaten them 3-1 in the middle of October. The Mocs saw similar success the 2nd time around, winning 3-1 on the Tars court. The first set was all Florida Southern as Chloe Moreland's-Kill finished a 25-15 victory to start things off. The Mocs kept that momentum rolling in the 2nd set, winning 25-20 thanks to key plays from Morgan Word and Catherine Sweeney. And despite several kills by Bolly Coles in the 3rd set, Rollins was able to stay alive with a 25-21 victory. Florida Southern ended it soon after, winning an epic 4th set, 30-28, closed out by Word's 14th kill on the night. The Mocs remain at 500 with a 12-12 record heading into their match against number 13 ranked Lind this Friday.
Women's soccer historic season continued in the first round of the SSC playoffs as they blanked the Eagles of Embry-Riddle and will be making their way to the SSC Championship semifinals. After tying 1-1 here in Lakeland just 16 days ago, the Mocs had Thanksgiving early, had a little bit of cooked eagle there against Embry-Riddle on their own field by a score of 2-0 to end their season. After a scoreless first half that required 0 saves from keeper and keeper of the year, Carly Brodsky, the Mocs began the 2nd half with a speedy shot on goal by Aaliyah Roberts that found the back of the net. That shot was Roberts' first goal of the season and as a Moc coming in the most pivotal of games. With the lead, the pressure was on Embry-Riddle to recover from the deficit, and they were ineffective. 2 more shots rained down on the Eagles keeper, Celerone, before they made their own offensive push, but Embry wasn't close enough, missing with a bullet ricocheting off the top of the woodwork. Momentum quickly turned around and Isabella Payne hit the mark after rebounding her own shot that went off the crossbar. With their comfortable 2-0 lead, the Mocs secured their win and advanced to face Nova Southeastern. Half of their 14 shots against the Eagles were on goal, and offensively, the Mocs looked to keep up that pressure going into Fort Lauderdale. Unfortunately, that did not happen. NSU scored within the first 15, and that remained unchanged the last 75 minutes. The Mocs didn't roll over in this one, as the final few moments they were able to fight back as they put up 5 shots in the last 11 minutes of the game in an attempt to even the affair. But on a more positive note, the SSC released their yearly awards, and Florida Southern was the recipient of 4. Brodsky, like I mentioned, keeper of the year and all SSC first team. Jeffries joined her as all SSC first team, with Hasagawa on 2nd team and Semi Markey on 3rd team. Their fate for an NCAA postseason run now rests in the hands of the South Region voters, as the South Region Selection Show will air on Monday, November 17th at 6:30 p.m. on NCAA.com. Make sure to mark your calendars.
After a valiant double overtime playoff effort for the men's soccer team, they ultimately fell 1-0 against Palm Beach Atlantic. Going into this game, it seemed the Mocs had too tall a task ahead of them, with many believing that D2's 2nd best team in the nation would be an absolute juggernaut. That simply was not the case. Similar to the women's game, there was no scoring that occurred within the first 45 minutes, with each goalie only being called upon for 1 save. Detmer found that crucial save in the 44th minute at the very end of the first half, preventing that first half deficit going into the locker room. In the 2nd half, the Mocs heavily ramped up their shot attempts, with 8 being targeted towards the Sailfish net, but none being able to get past Flavio Gianni. The story on the other side of the ball was very similar, with 3 of their 5 shots denied by Detmer and the Mocs backline. Both defenses prevailed in the 90 minutes, and then it was on to overtime, a place no one thought the Mocs would get to against the SSC in-season champions. 4.5 minutes into the 10-minute period, the Sailfish put their first recorded shot on net. However, it was about a story too high from the top of the crossbar. With time winding down, a Hail Mary shot from Darcy Moffett looked to be accurate, but sailed too far left of the net. And it was all downhill from here, unfortunately, for the Mocs, as PBA found their identity entering the second overtime. 2 shots in the first minute for the Sailfish, as well as 2 Mocs fouls, including a yellow card on Paul Hansen, turned the tide. And with one final swing of the Tin Vastic leg, in the 104th minute of the affair, the Mocs were spiritually crushed, with a 1-0 ingrained on the scoreboard. Florida Southern exceeded expectations in this game, but it just wasn't enough to knock off D2's number 2 team in the nation. But boy, would have been a disappointment of the century if the 8 seed had beaten the 1. To end optimistically, the team earned 4 SSC yearly honors on Thursday, with João Lopes receiving co-freshman of the year alongside Lynn's Thiago de Carvalho. Additionally, Daniel Shabani, Darcy Moffett, and Tim Bioline were all named to SSC's 3rd team.
We opened up the Snakebite talking about men's cross country, and we'll close it talking about the close of the women's cross country season, where they had their best performance of the year, finishing 9th overall in the South region, with Grace Reed finishing 18th overall and earning her first career all-region honors. Behind her was Emma Pfeiffer in 50th, who ran her best race of the year by far, as the rest of the Mocs came in behind her, with the top 6 all being top 75. This was the final race for 4-year moccasins Rachel Hockenberry and Caitlin Beery, who battled adversity throughout their career to make the regional team this year and continue to write their names in the record books, minds, and lives of all of their teammates. That will do it for this week's edition of the Snakebite. Basketball is tonight, tomorrow, and Tuesday for the men. It's today and tomorrow for the women, and obviously a lot more going on campus. If you're not glued to FCMocs.com, I don't know what to tell you. See you next week.